Hello and welcome, fellow bookworms and film fans. Welcome to this week's episode of The Contented Narrative. We will be looking at the final Chronicles of Narnia book to film adaptation, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So it was written by C.S.Lewis and published in 1952. It was then released on film in 2010. And we'll be looking at three things as normal: how good is the film, how good is the book, and how well does the film take from the book. So first things first, the film. So it has taken me, for some reason, years to watch this film. Like literally 12 years. I've never ever watched this film. I've watched the first two countless times, and obviously I have done them on earlier episodes of this channel. So I thought I might as well conclude with the trilogy there. Obviously the Chronicles of Narnia books are a lot more than just those three books, but for some reason I've never watched Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So I watched it the other day because I thought I might as well conclude it and see what I think. And honestly, I enjoyed it. The plot is a bit bizarre. I genuinely, at points, I was like, wait, what am I watching? Like, I'm genuinely confused, because at one point I thought it was a kid's film, but you've got slave traders, and then you've got sacrifices to a big green mist in the sea, and you've got to find 7 swords to put on Aslan's table to defeat the ultimate evil, which is an island. So it was a bit sort of like a bit bizarre. So basically, Voyage of the Dawn Treader follows King Caspian, as he's trying to find the 7 lords that were exiled when his dad was basically murdered, so his uncle could take over. So he's going off on this adventure, and when he's going off on this adventure, Edmund and Lucy come back to Narnia, but Eustace, who is their cousin, who is a snivelling, horrible excuse for a little boy, grows to love and cherish, like Edmund did in the first one. They end up coming aboard the Dawn Treader through a painting. They come through the sea, and they end up on board the Dawn Treader. You also have Reap. I'm not going to try to say his full name, but he's the little talking mouse. And he sort of forms a bond with Eustace. They go on these adventures. They defeat slave traders. They defeat evil. They come across Eustace gets turned into a dragon, then back into a little boy. They travel to the end of the world, because obviously our world is round, but Narnia's world is flat. So, it's things like that. And it was a really good adventure film, to be perfectly honest. And as I said, sometimes I genuinely was like, there is so much going on in this plot. It makes no sense at points. But I enjoyed it. It was a good film. I probably would watch it again, sort of like if I was looking to kill some time. It's not one that I would seek out, but if I was channel surfing and it was there, I might just pop it on and just carry on watching it. To watch on sort of like a lazy sunny day where you're not really focusing that much, I think it's a good film. And to show to children, I think again it's a good film because it does have really nice morals behind it. I just think at points I was a bit like, this is a kid's film, right? And not because it was like overly, but I was just like, okay, right, no problem. So it gets a 5 out of 10 for me because it wasn't an awful film. I did enjoy it, but I probably wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again. But for a first time, give it a go. It honestly, it is a good film. It's just not a great film for me. So now the book. So the book, for some reason, I really struggled to read this one. It's only like 150, 200 pages, if that. And I was really struggling to read it. It took me a very long time to finish it. And I don't know what was causing it. I don't know why it was so hard to read. I mean, again, they go on an adventure. They go onto different little islands. You come across duffel pods, which are one-footed little people that were invisible at one point, and then they become non-invisible. You still have Edmund and Lucy and Eustace. Who calls their kid Eustace? Aslan, of course, is in this book as normal. I don't know why, but I just really struggled to follow it, and I just didn't find it as enjoyable a book as the other ones. And I think the other ones I read a lot quicker, and I much more enjoyed the plot and everything like that. But with this one, I just felt it was a bit sort of like, it just didn't feel like a complicated, like a complete story. It felt like, when someone's telling a story and then they remember something else in the story. It felt like that. It felt like, oh, so Prince Caspian's going off on his adventure again to find the 7 lords. He's going off. Oh, he's come across this land. Oh, he's been sold as a slave. Okay, now he's taken over. Now he's now he's put someone else in charge. He's found one lord, perfect. Now he's gone away to this island. Oh wait, there's a pool that turns somebody to gold. Oh wait, now they found a second lord. They're now on another, and it just, I don't know, like I was just sort of like, I felt a bit sort of like jerky. I mean, I will continue and finish the whole Chronicles of Narnia because I think I've only got about three books left to read. But personally, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to read it again. I just didn't. It was nice. It was an enjoyable one, and I think reading it with children, you know, like the way that each chapter is like a completely different story within this little book. I think it's really good for reading with children, because you can read a chapter and it sort of ends and then they're on the next adventure. But for me, it just felt very sort of jerky, and I couldn't get with the narrative with this one, which is annoying because I have enjoyed the previous ones. So for the book, it probably gets probably a 5 out of 10 for me for the book as well, because I probably would have enjoyed it more if it was a little bit more, a little bit less of every chapter is a brand new island kind of thing. So now the plot. So one thing I will say is the film did add the subplot of villagers being sacrificed to a green mist in the sea because of the evil island, and now they have to go off and defeat all evil, but each of the people on the Dawn Treader will be tried and tested against, like, I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but they will be tested to make sure that they're pure of soul or whatever. So they added that whole subplot. And to be fair, the film did take the plot of the book quite well, but chronologically completely wrong. So anyway, so it both starts with Eustace, Lucy and Edmund going through the painting and being picked up by King Caspian on the Dawn Treader. In both, Caspian sailing to find the Seven Lords who were exiled, and obviously Edmund and Lucy are like, oh yeah, perfect, we're back in Narnia. Eustace is a little shit. Pardon my language, apparently that word is a swear word, but seriously, come on. But yeah, he is a piece of work. He's not very nice. He's very sort of like, and I must say, in the film, he is played very, very well, because I genuinely, when I was watching it, I was like, you are a very disagreeable young boy, and if I came across you, I swear to God, I'd slap you silly. Obviously, I wouldn't. Child abuse, can't do that. But I was just like, very well played. So Eustace and Reap end up sort of like at odds at the beginning, and then they end up in a duel at one point as well, and Reap kind of takes it under his wing to try and teach you, because with Reap, the talking mouse, he isn't a bad mouse, and he's not like but he sees the good in everyone, and so he's like, oh, I'll tell you, I'll take it on myself to be able to teach Eustace how to be a better human being, basically. And he does this in his own sort of unique little way. So in the book, they land on the Isles. It's Eustace, Edmund, Lucy, Reap, the first mate, and Caspian that get captured by slave traders. In the film, it's just Eustace, Lucy, Edmund, and Caspian. In the book, Caspian is bought by one of the missing lords, who then helps overthrow the governor and bring down the slave traders. In the film, the missing lord has been imprisoned and the company get rescued by the crew of the boat. But again, they bring down the slave traders, and again, the missing lord then becomes the new sort of governor of the Isles. So now in the film, in the film, as I said, it's not just the slave traders, they're also sending off people into this green mist that comes every morning, and they're sacrificing people. Woo! Sacrifice! Great thing for a kids' film. So this in the film then prompts a husband and a daughter of one of the people that's been sacrificed to come aboard the boat. The husband is known of, the daughter then gets sort of like found later on in the journey, but they then come across, because now Caspian has found one of the lords, he's now going to go off and defeat this evil green mist so that he can bring back his people, basically. So in both, they're sort of encountering a wild storm that starts fraying the crew to a point where they're kind of going, is it worth it? And, you know, there's starting to be a bit of mutiny, you know, kids film. And then they become becalmed as well, which is even worse, because then they're not moving and they have to row, and obviously their stocks are running low. So in the book, they end up at an island where Eustace goes off, finds a dragon, an actual dragon, who then dies. He then goes to sleep on the dragon's hoard, wakes up, he's a dragon. Woo! And in the film, so he also, in the book, on the same island before they leave, Aslan turns him back to a boy. So he literally is only a dragon for like a week or so. It's a lot longer in the film. So yeah, so in the book, he's found this dragon, he's become a dragon, and then about a week later, Aslan turns him back to a human boy. In the film, they land on a nice island, but it's a wizard's island, and it's here that you meet the Dufflepuds. And the Dufflepuds want to be turned back invisible, so they turn them back. So they kidnap Lucy. Lucy then goes off, sets them back to being visible. Then the wizard in the film at this point sends them off on the adventure, being like, so the lords have come to me and they've gone off with these swords, so you need to find the 7 swords, lay them at Aslan's table, defeat all evil. So now they're on another quest. So in the book, they're now set upon by a sea serpent, which they manage to dislodge, and they almost get eaten by the sea serpent, but they don't. They also reach an island that is deserted, which then almost causes a rift between Edmund and Caspian due to a pool that changes everything to gold. So Edward's like, well, I'm the High King of Narnia, and Caspian's like, yeah, but I'm the current King of Narnia. This is mine. And then Lucy's like, you're both being idiots. It's a pool that turns it to gold. Leave it. So in the film, they now reach an island that is deserted, and this is then this island where the pool is that causes the rift, and this is the island that turns Eustace into a dragon, who stays a dragon for a very long time. So in the film as well, the crew go to Aslan's table with the swords they've been collecting to find that they are missing one because they need 7 to defeat the evil. But in the book now in the book, they're on the islands with the Dufflepuds. So do you see what I mean? Like it's the same sort of plot, but it's completely in the wrong order. So now in the book, they're at the island with the Dufflepuds and they're meeting the wizard and they've made everybody visible again. But the wizard does not send them on some big thing adventure being like, oh, go defeat evil. They just have a nice time and then they head off. So in the film, the Dawn Treader has to go into the heart of evil as the 7th sword is with the Lord that is literally... Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, sorry. In the film as well, the 3 of the Lords are sat at Aslan's table covered in ivy and stuff, and they've been asleep for a while. So now they have to go and find the 7th sword, which is with the Lord, which is in the Island of Evil. So the Dawn Treader in the film is now off to the Island of Evil. In the book, they kind of go through like this evil mist, and then they ask for help. Well, Lucy asks for help, and Aslan sends them an albatross. They pick up one of the missing lords in the book now, and they manage to come out of this little misty bit, and they're absolutely fine. No big evil or anything like that. In the book now, they're at Aslan's table with the enchanted sleepers, and they're set upon a quest to break the spell. So they have to go to the end of the world, and they have to leave one of their company behind. They come back, and the 3 lords that are asleep will be awake. In the film, in the Island of Evil, a sea serpent comes to life, attacks the boat. While this is happening, Eustace, who is still a dragon, gets turned back into a boy by Aslan and lays the 7th sword on the table, which defeats the evil island, which then releases all the human sacrifices of the Green Mist, and they're all safe and sound. Great. So now in both, so now they've done the Aslan's table, they've defeated evil in the film, they're now on a quest in the book, and in both they're going off to the end of the world on the Dawn Treader. Now in the book, when they get there, Eustace, Edmund, Lucy and Reap continue alone to see Aslan at the huge wave of water. In the film, it's the same as I've just said, but Caspian's with them. But in both, Reap does go off to Aslan's country where no one else follows him, but Caspian returns to Narnia, so returns to the Dawn Treader to return to Narnia, and the 3 children then go back home. Lucy and Edmund being told they can't come back to Narnia now, they're too old, but Eustace might come back in the future. So in both, they end with everyone back where they belong. Eustace now becomes a better boy for the adventure. Reap is off in Aslan's world. Caspian is back ruling Narnia. And everything's sort of back to normal. So, as I said at the beginning of the plot, if I was going to go solely on chronologically, how good does the film take from the book? It's a 4 out of 10 because it starts the same, it ends the same. There's a little bit in the middle that's the same. That's it. If I was to go for how much does the film take from the book, it would get a higher point of 7 out of 10, because all of the islands pretty much that they visit in the book, they do visit in the film, it's just in a different order. The whole dragon thing happens in a different order. Again, the wizard as well in a different order. So it's very similar, sort of like how much they take from the book, but they added their own subplot to it as well. So obviously this is what I think. If you agree or disagree with anything that I said, please leave it below in the comments. Let me know what you think. If there's any book to film adaptations that you'd like me to do, again, leave them below in the comments. I am more than happy to get around to them. Because I am now only doing one book to film adaptation a month, it might take me a little bit longer than it used to. But thank you so much for everyone's continued support, and remember to always keep it contento.